All right. Well, it looks like we're going here. This is my first time of doing a live stream, so I guess that means no, no editing, no retakes, no any of that sort. So hopefully someone will come on here soon and we'll get some views. Otherwise, I will just record this like I do a normal video. That hopefully some people will come on here for some questions. So yesterday was Christmas, and it went pretty well for me. I would say it was a calm Christmas. I had church in the morning, and after that, we came home and had lunch. Mom made a good turkey and sides to go with it, but it was very good. And my parents and I had our own little Christmas, I guess, and opened our presents. And one thing that I got was a new camera, which I was planning on getting. So hopefully in the next week or two, I'll be back to doing regular videos from my camera instead of just here from the computer. So that will be good to get back to. But one surprise that we had was on Sunday that my parents and I were sitting here in the house about 5:30 in the afternoon or so, and as usual, Sunday evening we were kind of in our own corners of the house, and we were all kind of doing our own thing. I was here on the computer playing Tropico 6, I believe, and all of a sudden we got a knock at the door. Their doorbell rang, and not surprised. We weren't expecting anyone. And Dad went and answered the door, and lo and behold, there were a whole bunch of people there. Well, we'd seen at church Sunday morning that around 4 o'clock they were going to have carolers go out and go to different people in the community. Well, apparently we were one of the last stops for one of the caroling groups. So Dad quick cleaned the house a little bit while everyone got out of cars and told Mom to come up from the basement. And I was in bed like I am now, and it takes about 15 minutes or so to get me up. So he just decided to have everyone come back here to my room. So I got out of what I was doing, and I first saw a couple of kids coming down the hall, looking kind of like, where are we going? So I said, hi, come on in. And pretty soon I had 35 people crowding around in my room and down the hall. And I got a couple of them to move my computer back so that it wasn't right here in front of me and that I could still see people around. But that was kind of fun. They sang like 4 or 5 Christmas songs, and it was a good time. It was very unexpected, to say the least, but I'm thankful that they thought about us and coming here. So it was a good Christmas week. But now, as part of, well, running a business, I guess, that I have different things to get caught up on for the end of the month and also for the beginning of the new year coming. So a oh, number of weeks ago, I guess, I talked about my funding issues that I'm working on switching to another source that will hopefully pay my day caregivers. Well, that is progressing, thankfully, and should, if everything goes as planned, take over on January 1st. So next Friday. And everything looks like it's in place. I think mostly everyone has done what they need to sign up and done all their paperwork and all that. I think right now I'm the one who's behind in that I need to get um, stuff on my end to keep track of everything. Because part of what I do with my daily cares is that I keep track of the hours that everyone is here. And then so I know who's here and who has done what. And with the new system, I will need to keep track of that even further. But hopefully, in the long run, it will be better than what I'm currently using. But again, with starting something new, there's always a learning curve, to say the least. I just hope that I don't make any mistakes that end up in my caregivers not getting compensated for what they should or anything of that sort, because that's definitely the last thing I want to happen. So, about 7 minutes in here, and I was hoping a few people would pop on and start watching, but looks like we're not getting much for questions or any interaction, which kind of expected. It's my first time trying this and didn't really know how to promote it or anything of that sort either. My plan was to go for about half hour, so we'll see. Hey, Beth, glad to see you're here at least. Got one viewer, so one is better than none, right? And I'm having fun with my camera here that it zooms in on me, but if I move my stick, it doesn't quite know what to do. So that's kind of fun to play with. So glad to see you're on today. I hope everything is going well over in your neck of the woods, shall I say. And the weather here has been very good for late December. Um, Early in the month, we had a lot of snow and cold weather, but the last probably week and a half, almost 2 weeks, it warmed back up. And the only snow that we have left now are the piles by parking lots. So I'm always glad to see snow decrease. And I was asked to preach this coming Sunday, but that was like 10 days ago they asked me. And this time of year, I normally do not agree to preach anywhere or schedule much of anything going out because I never know what the weather is going to be. So now it looks like I probably could have agreed to preach Sunday, but it is supposed to be kind of cold. So I feel kind of bad not doing that because my home church was the one that asked me, and they don't ask me very often to come out. But I'm thankful that they did at least. And let's see, also the progress on my trait button. I think last week's update, I said that it was starting to fall in a little bit, and thankfully it isn't getting any worse. But I talked with my doctor. Excuse me, it's something I normally would have taken out, but this is live, so I can't. But I talked with my doctor, and he said we're down to about three options. That either I can leave the trach button in as is, and we'll see what happens. Two, we can go back to the regular trach. And I had my regular trach, I think about 2 years ago, year and a half or something like that. And I had it for about 6 months, and I got a lot of pain in my throat. I couldn't speak as well, and suctioning was very difficult. I know that if I had to go back to regular trach, I would probably need to have something that is shorter than my current version. I think that would help in order to at least suction better, but I don't know if it would help with getting less pain or not. One of those things you don't know until you try, but with medical things, trying things is, well, expensive and takes a lot of work and time. But the third option that we could do was to have a more major surgery that he said he can decrease the space between my skin and the trachea. So if he did that, then it would work better for my trach. But hello. So I don't know if that's a round I would go through or not. And I don't look forward to possibly more surgery. I've had a lot of surgeries, but they've basically been in areas where I can't feel. And editing my throat just, it doesn't sound like a whole lot of fun for some reason. And I've learned to be able to move stuff around in my lungs and, you know, use my throat as I have it now. Because I've kind of grown up with, well, my throat. So I don't know if having surgery would have problems or that kind of thing. But we'll have to see. Um, yes, your name is DPLP 5902. So, as the title says, ask a quadriplegic anything. So, I was in a car accident when I was 3 years old, and I have what's called a C23 spinal cord injury. So, I cannot feel or control anything below my shoulders or breathe on my own. So I'm paralyzed from shoulders down and have really good head movement, but that's about all I can control. So the camera here is just on my computer's webcam, and I do everything via mouse stick. So my keyboard and mouse are below the camera's view here. But if I take a drink, it might show it. Oh, guess not. The last time, thank you. The last time I got a drink just before streaming, the camera completely moved, so it didn't focus on just me. But as far as Beth's question about affecting my pacing, I don't know. For the question about being paralyzed, as I said, I can't breathe on my own, but I use an implant that gives my diaphragm a shock every 4 seconds, or in other words, um, 15 times a minute, and that is what makes me breathe. I wouldn't think the surgery would affect my pacing at all. Um, to my knowledge, it shouldn't change any of that. Still be breathing through my nose and mouth, and it would hopefully help my breathing a little bit, maybe, as maybe things will be cleared up a little bit. But my doctor is very familiar with my system, at least, and I trust that he would do anything that we need. And yeah, when I had surgery a couple weeks ago on my current trach button, then I had to educate a lot of the nurses around about what my breathing system was, but they're all interested in it, and I'm always glad to educate. So that's why I have this channel that I can educate and answer questions. And as I had said at the beginning of the stream, I did get a new camera for Christmas, and my hope is that I'm going to be starting a new channel here shortly that will cover my preaching more, and then I'll have a separate channel for quad life and another one for preaching. And I won't get the name of it yet, but it's probably fairly obvious if you looked back to my older videos. But I had hoped to start that around Thanksgiving and to cover things about Christmas, but since my camera died, well, that obviously didn't happen. Hey, Chili, how are you doing? Been a while since I've seen you around, and glad to catch you here on the live stream. I did not know what at all to expect doing this, but at least getting a couple viewers, so that's fun. It'd be nice if we had maybe about half dozen or so, but I think I get 2 viewers at a time right now, so that's good. Hopefully, some people will see this later and maybe provide questions and comments. But hey, if it goes well or I get more interest, maybe I can do this again now that I know how it works. Say, I watched other YouTube videos on how to set up YouTube streaming. So I got the initial stuff done earlier this week. And then started about 10 minutes before the hour to see, okay, what do I actually have to do to get live? And wasn't too bad as I expected, but I had to do a couple things, which is why I ended up being 1 minute late, but hey, it works. So yeah, I didn't share it very much or give many reminders this morning. So, yeah, that's maybe a good question that I have for anyone that's watching now or may see this later is what are areas that I could maybe share or look to more that you might see it easier or that others may. So the camera is done automatically. So right now I have it set so that it has me on center stage, as it says. So if I click that off, then it basically just zooms out and you can see more of the bed and behind me. And my suction machine right there, that's what I use to help clean out my lungs while I'm here in bed. But if I click on center stage again, it will zoom back into me. And my computer, which is an Apple computer, it's just does it automatically, thankfully, so I don't have to guide it up or down. It just focuses on me, which might be good, might be bad. I'm not sure, but it does. All right, well, I'd hope to go about half an hour, so that gives us about another 7 minutes. Glad to see we got a couple of people on, but if you have any other questions of any sort, I don't know if anything will be off limits, but take your pick. And yeah, I use this mouse stick for everything. I can type at about 30 words a minute with it. I know a lot of other quads will use text to speech and that they control the computer that way. Or another friend of mine, Alex, uses something called a quad joy, which is basically a mouse that you sip and puff with to click and move things around. And that will let you do stuff on the computer. Whatever system works for you is what's best. I like this best as it's the fastest for mouse control, at least. Obviously, for typing, having it just dictate what I say is faster than typing. But right now, since I don't do it much, I had to go back and correct quite a bit. And I still do that via stick. So it's still um, questionable on which way is faster, I guess. So yeah, I did do some daily routine videos. I did my morning routine a few years ago, and I did a full day. And really, that's still what I do every single day. And I still like to post stuff about quad life. So the last several videos have been what's going on in my life as a quadriplegic. But really, for a lot of stuff, for most people, really most days are about the same from one to the next. So posting new routine videos really wouldn't be any different than the last one because they're the same. I might have different lunch or different supper, but that's not too exciting. I open mouth, insert food, and chew away. So I don't know that's real entertaining content. Oh boy. Well, probably the greatest challenge that I face, um, really that most quadriplegics face, is having enough caregivers. Um, I am extremely blessed that right now I have two daytime caregivers that fill 5 days a week, and I also have two nighttime helpers that between the two of them cover all 7 nights. So that works when everything is working. But if someone's sick or wants to take vacation or anything of that sort, or living here in Iowa that we have bad weather, then it makes it so that my parents have to fill those shifts. Mm. So right now, when everything works correctly, my parents only have to do 5 hours every evening, and then Saturday and Sunday days. So about 15 hours between my night shifts, I would say. And like yesterday with holidays of Christmas, then we give my day people off as well. They want to do their own thing with church and their family, and really, I'll be doing with my family the same. So we don't feel that we need to have them the whole time. Like next week, though, with New Year's Day, we'll have my day nurse come because New Year's Day we really don't do a whole lot. So, um, yeah, I do have a lot of spasms. I take two different medications, one called baclofen and another tizanidine, that helps to decrease those muscle spasms. I also, on occasion, do something called an FES bike, which is functional electrical stimulation. And when I do that, it helps to decrease my spasms. But one of the big things that I also do is that I am always barefoot. I figured out over the years that when I have something on my feet, that my spasms increase. So, excuse me. So rather than taking more drugs and all the side effects of them, that going barefoot is a whole lot easier. And I've also had a lot of improvement over pressure sores the last probably 10 years, I would say. And that has also helped to decrease my spasms. So between that and the bike, I've been able to decrease some of my spasm meds, and they are pretty well under control now. And I mainly have trouble with them at night. I go long periods between meds, and if I have something that's going on, but thankfully they're under control, and thankfully I don't have pain associated with them, which I know some quadriplegics have, and that can be a major problem. But again, I'm very blessed that I don't have that. So good questions there. Thank you. Well, it looks like I've actually managed to get up to about half an hour now, and my voice goes for about half an hour of blabbing, and then I start getting really hoarse, as you can kind of start to hear. So if someone else has some questions or further, please let me know. Otherwise, this has been kind of fun. I think I'll try to do this a little more often. I don't know if it'll be a regular monthly thing, but maybe every quarter or so, maybe every 3 months, I can make this regular thing, and maybe I'll promote it a little bit more next time too. But hey, if there's more interest, I can do it more often. Ah, well, thank you for joining us from Brazil then. I do greatly appreciate it. So I think I will probably sign off for today then. But as always, I do appreciate those that have joined here live, and hopefully some people will watch it again later as well. But I do appreciate the time you've taken, and thank you so much for watching. And I will hopefully get a regular video next week up. Um, want to get something about the new year, and I definitely have comments, I'll say, about my new wheelchair. And that's going to be quite the video coming up, but I'll talk about that in that video. So, bye for now, and good seeing you, Chili, and Beth, and DPLDB, and I'll catch you next time. So, bye for now.